All right, collectors. So today, I thought we'd talk about a little something called articulation. Something that's very important to me in the world of action figures, and maybe it might be important to you. I just, there's so many different opinions out there about articulation. There's so many different ideas about it, and why it should and why it shouldn't be. But what I want to do is, here, let me just show you a picture of what articulation looks like. I mean, kind of like an industry standard. And again, this is just kind of a standard. You've got companies that re-engineer the heck out of this stuff with all kinds of different swivels and joints and all kinds of craziness. And we'll get into that later in the video. And we're going to go through a list of all the different type of articulations and where I think some of the basic stuff is and some of the really, really cutting edge stuff is that people are doing, right? So with that, I'm going to do a quick wrap up as well to kind of give you a little bit more insight as to how I tend to, I don't know, judge is a strong word. What figures do I like to collect versus what figures give me pause? Because are they truly action figures, and are they worth our hard-earned dollar? I don't know. So without any ado, here's some of the articulation that you usually get, and we'll cover some of this, but I wanted you to be familiar with it. So guys, thanks for watching. Let's get into some comparisons on articulation, things that I like, things that I don't like, and we can in the comments below, share your thoughts. What particular articulation is absolutely critical to you? What thing or what articulation can you not live without? If a company puts something together and put a awesome action figure out there, but it was missing this particular bit of articulation, what would be a deal breaker for you, right? Or what particular parts of the articulation would be a deal breaker? I'm interested. I want to hear what you guys think. This is just how I judge stuff. And anyways, let's get into it. All right, collectors, today on the channel, we're going to talk about something maybe a little controversial. I don't know. I thought we'd do something a little different, but this is something that I've always wanted to talk about, right? Something I wanted to kind of set the record straight on what my thoughts are relating to articulation in action figures. Now, to me, don't call yourself an action figure if you don't have a minimum of the first figure that I'm going to show. This is where it has to be. This is the minimum that it could be to get a score of maybe 2 on my rating scale. Now, let me again hit you with the rating scale, right? A scale of 1 to 2 is kind of trash. Just take that whole figure and put it in the dumpster. It has little to no redeeming qualities. A figure from 2 to 3, it's not great, but maybe your little brother or niece or grandkid can play with it and get some enjoyment out of it. So it starts out at a 2. We're going to start with those figures, right? To me, a statue would be a 1, unless for some particular reason you find some great enjoyment out of a statue in as far as action figures go. So if you call yourself an action figure and you're basically a statue with interchangeable BS, to me, that's not an action figure. That's trash. It's trash. Not to say that I hate statues. It's just that you don't belong in that category. That means you're already disqualified. So, like I said, 1 to 2 is trash. Just chunk it in there. Don't let anybody else get beat up by that thing. Don't let anyone else suffer that craziness. 2 to 3, let your grandkids play with it. Your, niece, nephew, little brother, whatever. Maybe they can get some enjoyment out of it. 3 to 4, it's a meh. It's kind of a meh figure. It's got some redeeming qualities and it's got still quite a few flaws, but it'll be all right. Now, take it or leave it. That's the one I say, the 3 to 4. 4 to 4.5, well, that's a daggum solid figure. That is a real solid figure. 4.5 to 5 is a great figure. And then finally, we turn it up to 5.1 like Spinal Tap does to 11, and that's a must-have figure. Anyways, let's talk about the very minimum that you need to be an action figure. This is, to me, is a very minimum. And this is it. So to me, and I don't buy these figures. Now, they deserve to be called action figures because they were almost like the first style, right? And I'll tell you why. And some people may disagree. That's okay. It's my my thoughts on this. So, and I don't buy these to open them. I buy these to look at and display and look at the packaging. You know, I just take this whole figure. I don't usually open these up because there's no need to. I mean, they don't action very much, but I think they still deserve the title of an action figure. And that is our good old friend, 5POA. When I was a kid, and this is one of the Marvel Legends, like the small ones. I forgot what it was. He's got to turn his head right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's, you know, that's it. That's what you're getting out of him. Something like this. There you go. He is actioning. And the reason I say that is because, you know, some of my first memories were actioning Star Wars action figures. They had this articulation. This was the articulation they had. So to me, this is at the very minimum articulation. Now, I don't score these because at this would be like a 2. I mean, most of the redeeming qualities here is the paint and the packaging that it comes in. I took this out because they're actually standing on a couple of my arcades upstairs. So anyways, there's this guy. Yeah, I mean, it's all right, but it's nothing to write home about. So we'll put him in the spot way over here. That's where it starts, right? What do we have next? Now, again, we're going to get a little bit controversial here because I want to. A lot of times you get these figures here, and a lot of these figures are good, but they're not well articulated at all. And that is a lot of these figures. We're going from worst to best. A lot of these figures with these single point joints right here. I mean, you do have some articulation there, but these single point joints, there's not a lot there. You see that? Especially at the elbows. I mean, that's less than a 90-degree turn right there. I mean, you have some articulation here. That's fine. You have a little bit of articulation there. Gosh, this thing is hard. Anyways, but do you see what I'm saying? You don't get a lot of articulation here. I get it. It's a chunky fella. But yeah, I mean, to me, this is still like a 2, maybe like a, you know, I don't know. It's not great, but it's not horrible. I wouldn't give it a 2. I'd maybe give it like a 2.9, almost a 3, just because of the aesthetics of it and because it's bigger. But you know, it's not great. You know, a lot of the bigger figures, Build-A-Figures, have this single joint. I do like that they can move up and down, but this is bare minimum type stuff. So we'll sit him over here. He's gonna foreshadow. He's gonna overtake Spidey over here. We'll put him in his palm right there. Hold him. Hold him. Hold him. He doesn't want to hold. I didn't practice this, y'all. So there. All right, hang out. Now what's next, right? They're going to quickly start to get better because we've learned to get better over time. The next one I want to show you is actually a female action figure and a male action figure. And this is going to be controversial, but boy, do I hate this. Now, and I hate it because they can do better. Now, I know they can do better because we'll run into a couple of them besides this, and that is these G.I. Joe female single jointed elbows right there. And they don't have much, well, this one has quite a bit there, but this figure has almost everything that you would need, almost. And this, because arms are so important to action figures, and she doesn't have a cut at the bicep either, so that's annoying. So no cut at the bicep, and a single joint right there. That kills this figure. It kills it. in my eyes. And that drops it, you know, this barely cuts into the 3. I mean, it's literally a 3.0. You've barely met the grade to be a decent action figure at this point. So, I mean, and it kills me because I know these guys know better. I know they know better because we're going to see another example of it in a minute. So, and actually, she might actually be better than this other guy. And I'm going to get a lot of flack about this. It's okay. I can take it. This next one I'm going to show you is actually worse than that one, in my opinion. But it is such an iconic character to me. And I know a lot of toy tubers out there raved and ranted about it, how amazing it was. But it's barely better than that in my mind and in my opinion. And here we go. Get ready. Here comes the heat. This figure right here. For as awesome as this figure is, and I love this figure aesthetically. I love all the aesthetics of it, and it does have some good articulation, but single joint here, no bicep cut here, no thigh cut, no drop down hips, single joint here. What a single joint there, doesn't, you know, barely gets to 90. It's just, you know, I love the Frazetta girls for putting this out. Great work. But you could have done so much better. So much better. So he actually stands right there. She actually is a little bit a cut above him for a couple of things on her legs. What do we have next? And again, guys, I invite you to rearrange these. Whoops. I got excited. Too excited. Oh, man. Hold on. I broke the street sign. Let me fix that. All right. Street signs fixed. I got too excited. I invite you to rearrange these if you like. So there's where we started. I might have to move these over some more though, because we might have a long line of, don't fall, wall. You're gonna have a long line of these guys come up here next. All right, so that's where we are with that. What's next? Well, gosh, this is starting to get kind of hard. Okay, yeah, you know, this is kind of right here. We're gonna say you're starting to get into the solid action figure, right? Now you're getting into the, you know, the 4s. To me, in my opinion, these are solid figures, and we'll get to these in just a second. I'm trying to rearrange them off camera so we can get to them. All right, we'll start off with a solid figure. The solid figure that kind of started to set the trend for articulation is the G.I. Joe classified line. You have double jointed elbows, cut at the bicep, drop down hips, thigh cut. I mean, this is the standard, folks. This is it. This is the standard, which is awesome. Some butterfly articulation there. I know not the best, but to me, G.I. Joe classified right here, you know, that level of articulation, that's the standard. That's breaking into the 4 category. And then it got even a little better than that, in my opinion. Again, my opinion. We started to see, well, I'll just show you the figure. Valaverse. And that's okay if you don't like it. You guys can, you know, I'm just judging the toys at this time. And the reason I say that is because he has everything this guy has. Drop down hips and everything. A little more solid as well. Not only that, here's where it's really incredible, right? A lot of the articulation here, he's got that, he's got a cut here, just everything this one has as well. But here's what really impressed me with this one. This butterfly cut that he has right there, this is one of the only figures that naturally can hold a weapon the way it's supposed to. And I love that. I mean, these butterfly joints work perfectly. And he's got so much rotation there. I mean, great job. I mean, this is just, you know, now you're getting into the really super solid figures right there. So that's a Valaverse figure to me. That's where it sits. And we're getting, well, actually, at this point, there is another figure that I really like. And we'll just call her out. We'll just call it out. And that's these guys. And the reason he sits right there above Valaverse is because they cost so little and they do so much. It basically has everything that one has and that one has, and it's super cheap. So I can't really, I mean, that's just where he belongs. He belongs right there. It's okay. It's okay to disagree with me. I'm a big fan of Bobby Vala. I'm a big fan of G.I. Joe Classified. I'm now a big fan of Storm Collectibles. Gosh, I'm even a big fan of what the Frazetta girls are doing, although I think they could do much better with that. I get it. Maybe the artist in them doesn't want to break up the sculpt too much, but then maybe don't call yourself an action figure. But anyways, the other figure I want to get to, and again, it's going to be ultra, I don't know if it's going to be controversial or not, but we're just going to go with it, is this one right here. Boy, do I really like this figure. The female Cobra Trooper. She has everything, and the reason I'm going to put him above him, is because she has everything he has. And it's a female. That is huge. That is, Valaverse, if I had a Valaverse female, I'd put her right next to it. Valaverse female and this particular version of the G.I. Joe Classified female, I mean, the females from Valaverse are all this level, this grade. Some of the G.I. Joe Classified figures, as we saw before, female ones, are not to this level. So it's disappointing that they just skimped on us and this instead made us buy two to get this. So for that reason, because she's a female and they did her right, if I had a Valaverse figure by here, I'd put it right next to her as well. This is getting up there into the, into the 4.5, 5 area now. Now we're getting way up there. So fantastic. Now, the next figure, you guys are going to laugh at me for because he's available everywhere. But to me, this figure is highly articulated. And we're just talking about articulation. We're not talking about looks. We're not talking about got to have this one, got to have that one. This is a, particular figure that I've been looking for my whole life. No, I'm just talking about articulation. And I know you guys are going to laugh, and I think this is the Pizza Spidey body, maybe. I don't know. You guys correct me in the comments. I don't know all the bucks. I don't keep track of that stuff. But I think this little guy right here is highly articulated, and it's done pretty well. Laugh at me if you want. Speedball. Speedball is crazy articulated. I mean, crazy. If it wasn't for these wonky legs, and stuff, it'd be even better. But he's got the butterfly cuts. He's got a cut here, double jointed elbows. I mean, with the pinless stuff, I mean, I'm just talking articulation. So that could be better. This is kind of ugly too. You see that? That's kind of ugly, but it's there. And he's got a crunch. He's got the butterfly joints. He can look way up. Look at that. I mean, it's insane. Look at that. So it's out of control. I mean, thigh cut. I don't know if he's got drop down. It feels a little drop downy, but I don't know. Anyways, I put him right here simply because he's incredibly articulated. Just crazy articulated. And now we're getting to the cut above, the female action figure that's a cut above all the rest. All the hype is true. This is the standard. The standard, I think, at this point for female action figures, or not the standard, but the one to beat. And that's right, the hype is real. This Scarlet Spider that we got at Target is out of control good. She is crazy. She's even better than the G.I. Joe Classified. I mean, crazy head, you've got all this articulation. Well, she's, you got a little bit stuck here with the head or whatever, but here's where it really shines. Look at all this articulation she has. She's got the butterfly joints. She's got a bicep cut. She's got double jointed pinless elbows. Look at the crunch she can do. Look at these crunch. Look at that in the back. Just crazy articulated, thigh cut. Just incredibly well articulated for a female. I wish, maybe I should have gotten another head for this one, but trying to show y'all. I mean, she has just a ton of range, out of control range for her. And the fact that she's a female puts her even higher up on my scale. So to me, she's up here because this is a female done nearly to perfection. So there we're going to leave her. What is another male? And now we're getting to the, I didn't limit myself on numbers. I just kind of wanted to show you a progression, right? Kind of a progression of what's on sale now that you can go buy, or what companies have out there that you can go buy. The next one that I saw, and this is a highly controversial figure because it costs more than what everybody else wanted to pay. And I'm going to keep it in this position because it's very important to me. So this is, I believe, the Renew Your Vows type body Spider-Man, but it's this version. This was the first one, I guess, to kind of come out like that, I think, or was it the Renew Your Vows? Anyways, which, I mean, I guess it's the one it's called after, right? The articulation on this Spider-Man is, you know, the toe articulation, the boot cut, the double jointed pinless knees, thigh cut, drop down hips. I believe they're drop down. You guys correct me. It's just got a ton of articulation. And the fact that he can hit this pose and look up a little, see that? That's amazing. That is almost gotten it. Now, you guys have been looking at the absolute, to me, the absolute epitome of articulation. I've yet to find a figure that can come even close to this weird mutant articulated thing. And if you saw him up there in the corner, you were right. Do you see that pose up there? Look at him trying to strike it, and look at him striking it. He can't quite look up. He's looking up, and he's doing it off of nearly a 2-point stance. That is very hard to do. The Sentinel Spider-Man. This guy is out of control. He's got the engineering on this, it's just out of control, the engineering on this guy. And we've talked, you know, you guys have seen YouTubers talk in length about it. But this, in my mind, this is the progression in my mind of where action figures lie, to me. The only problem with this level of coolness and articulation, see how he can look straight at you? He can look straight across at you. But not this guy. As much as you try, you're going to pop his head off, and he's not going to look up because he just can't. But he can. So the only problem with this guy is that he is incredibly, well, not incredibly, but he is very expensive. I mean, they have two versions, right? They have the deluxe one, and then they have the regular one. To me, this one is just, this is it. This is the epitome. This is the engineering behind it. It just don't get any better. It just doesn't. So in my mind, this is where it's at. This is the articulation progress. Do you guys have, to me, these two are the standard for articulation. Valiverse and Classified right here. These two guys are solid figures. It should be no less than this. This is where it's at. If you go this way, you're starting to get into this spider type movement. If you go this way, you're getting into statue territory, right? So, you know, guys, tell me what you think. Did I do a good job of kind of showing you where my mind is, where my articulation stuff is, were you thinking about the same thing? Do you have different examples of what is the worst articulation? What is the standard for articulation? And what is like the spider type level articulation? And the biggest question of all, what is the best articulated figure that you've ever dealt with or that is currently in your collection? Let me know. I'd like to know. It's just fun talking about which ones are the best and which ones are the worst and which ones are middle of the road and which ones are the standard, right? Which ones, to me, these two guys hold the standard bearers. Valiverse is just a little bit better than that one, but that's just my opinion. They're very close to each other. And then Sentinel beats everybody. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope we had a little bit of fun talking about articulation. I'm sure I'm gonna get some comments about it. You know, you I almost said a bad word. You messed up on this and that. Well, that one's better because this, it's all right. It's good discussion, right? So today I thought we'd do something different other than vamp upgrades and, you know, some other stuff, but, or toy hunts, just a little something different to discuss. So guys, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. And as always, as long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep rolling these out. Not so fast. 2 last things. Guys, don't forget to go and sign up for the giveaway. I'll put a link right here to the giveaway. Go enter. Best thing that happens is you get over $200 retail worth of G.I. Joe Classified sent to your house. Worst thing that can happen is maybe you get to enjoy a couple of videos. I don't know, hopefully. The other thing is, this is very interesting. I just got a shipment in from Marauder Gun Runners. I have some thoughts. And I'm gonna do a video. I might try and pop out 2 videos tomorrow because I've got some ideas. Have some thoughts on it. So join me tomorrow, guys. I think it's going to be interesting.